Hello everyone, welcome to Motorindia's Trans Report. I'm Dhiyanesh Ravichandran, Senior Correspondent at Motorindia magazine, and presenting you an exclusive interaction with Mr. Rishi Aggarwal, the Managing Director of JCBL Limited, India's renowned and leading commercial vehicle fabricator, with a wide array of products and services being offered from his company. Including bus building products like buses, luxury coaches, school buses, tourist buses, things like that. And also truck-based applications, including like container boxes, cargo body applications, trailers, tip trailers, tippers, and things like that. And also including petroleum tankers. And also a whole area of special application vehicles are also being manufactured by JCBL, including ambulances, armored vehicles for defense and things like that. So of course, I don't need to give JCBL an introduction. It's a brand that's well known in the Indian commercial vehicle industry. So let's right away welcome Mr. Rishi. Sir, we welcome you with pleasure, sir. My hearty welcome.
Thank you very much. Great being here.
Right. So it's great to great to interact with you again. So I distinctly remember interacting with you sometime around September last year, when things were pretty bleak and also it was very different. And we never thought that the industry, the commercial vehicle industry, will at least bounce back to the extent that it has happened right now. And things are quite encouraging. It's good to see a lot of positive vibes coming from the industry across all product segments. At least from the out of decade, it looks promising. And the 2021 is what the 2021-22 is what we were expecting, and the year is round the corner. So probably I would like to start our interaction with a brief outlook, or let's say like a brief observation from your side on different product segments that JCBL is dealing with. So probably if I'm right, I can categorize your product segments into three broad categories. One will be the bus-based applications, and the second will be the truck-based applications, and third will be the special application vehicles. So I would like to get your observation on the current status of market demand for all of these product segments. Of course, all these are very broad headers. It will have different, say within special applications, you have ambulances, you have armored vehicles and things like that. Within buses, you have like tourist, luxury buses, you have midi buses, you have school buses and things like that. So specific observations with regard to these specific product categories and subcategories also, so as to get an understanding of how the commercial vehicle market is doing in 2021. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Ravi. As you are aware, JCBL has a very wide range of applications that we build. In fact, as a capacity, we build about 15,000. We can build about 15,000 applications a year. Right. So if you remember when we were talking about September, I was saying, God knows what's going to happen. We are still worried, or we are still trying to anticipate. But market shaped up very well, right. Much beyond any projections that we guys made. We guys made during a lockdown. So lockdown, we had our core team sit together and build a budget expectation or an annual projection. So we've beaten all those expectations. Yeah, it was a very bad year, but ended up better than what we anticipated. So if you look at the market from here, see, the tipper market has come back beautifully. There's a huge demand. In fact, the supply is a constraint. Availability of steel is a constraint, but the demand is humongous, led by infrastructure being built all across the country, the roads and the construction that are happening all across the country. So both our plants, north and south, are fully booked with tipper capacities. As you are aware, we also make containers, cargo containers, truck cargo containers. So the cargo containers has not picked up yet. E-logistics, we have some demand, but not to the peak that was happening in 1890. There's a huge demand coming in. if you look at for special application vehicles, like we are, as you're aware, we do motorhomes, we do mobile offices. Suddenly, customer wants to travel. I think lockdown, that's a post-lockdown effect. Customer wants to travel, and they feel a motorhome is a much safer option to travel. Another unique segment that is coming up and which is done very well, which we have got good responses, containerized homes. So what is happening? We have huge demand for containerized homes where people want to convert their farmhouses overnight in a container. They can want to put in containers there and start, working or start living there, or So that's the segment that has not picked up is the buses, because schools have not opened. As the biggest buyer for buses is schools. So, schools have not opened. Tourists are not coming in. So there are the two major. There is some demand from government department or state-run transport undertakings, but not a very huge one. But we have a good indication for March. We already have some OEs started to talk to us about school buses because they feel with the vaccination drive going well, schools are bound to open in a month or two. So schools are getting ready, preparing themselves up. Also, I personally feel when the school bus market will come back, it will come back. The numbers are going to be huge because it was a slow 19, it was a 0-20. So we have 2 years to cover up from. So there's a lot of backlog that will be covered in the school buses in coming year once the schools open.
Right, sir.
And I forgot to mention about petroleum tankers because you had mentioned that. As you're aware, we make petroleum tankers in south of India. There is a demand for petroleum tankers, and but more than demand, the inquiries numbers are much higher than the demand. So deals are not closing because the end customer tenders and it's taking a little while. But yes, we see next year to be a great year for petroleum tankers also.
Okay, right. But something that's quite surprising to me is you said that the containerized cargo segment has not picked up that much, right? So now, especially in the pandemic time, you have a big boost for e-commerce and these kind of courier services and transport logistics, things like that. But has that not actually translated into more product like indictment into those applications, or is there any specific reason for that from your side?
Our assumption behind this is that there was already a capacity for e-logistics that is being fulfilled now. Plus, there's a lot of spare capacities available with transporters, and they're using those vehicles to cater for that. Once the economy as a whole boom picks up, that's when we feel that e-logistics we will see a lot of demand. But as of now, no, there's very little demand. Okay. Extremely small demand.
Okay. So when do you expect even the bus segment to bounce back again? So probably.
So after a very long time throughout the year, we did not have many orders for buses, but we have indications for almost 200 buses for next month. So we feel the market is starting to come in. Everybody expects schools to start opening. Some have already opened, but they feel that schools will start opening properly from, I think, May end or June. And so schools also need to build up capacities. OEs need to build up their pipeline for the sales to come up. So I feel with 200 next month, I think every month would be a bigger number. We feel the bus market, worse is over for the bus market.
Right. One observation that I see in bus transportation at present is that, as you said, that schools are not open, so school market is out. The tourist segment has also not picked up. But the public transportation, right, undertaken by SRTUs, state undertakings, and those public-related bus services, they are up to, I think they have bounced back to 100%. And there is also an indication in several states that new orders of buses may also come in a month or twice. And with elections coming up in 5 states, most of these political parties have mentioned that in their agenda. Do you think like STUs are giving you a new scope with regard to bus sales in India?
Ravi, there's a lot of outlook. The outlook is very good for a state road transport buying buses,
Right.
but current order status is less. Number one. Number two, there's more outlook for an electric bus, which is being looked at, and electric bus is coming as a fully built product from OEs right now. So as you are aware that JCBL currently is not doing an electric bus, and that's where we feel that we are missing out on demand. Not that big, but yes, the demand is there. And I think next 6 months will unfold the story of road transport undertakings buying, and that then we'll come to know.
Okay. And with regard to ambulances and medical aid related buses, how has been the story so far?
Yeah, I actually missed that out. My apologies for that. Yes, ambulance business has been very good. We of late got an order for about 700 ambulances from defense. And apart from that, we have orders, export orders for ambulances. We have orders from different states. We have done for Punjab, Haryana, a lot of states we have been doing ambulances. Ambulance demand has been good. I think state governments have been building up their infrastructure for ambulances. And then private hospitals have also been buying. Yes, it has been a great year. I think what survived us on the bus side of the business or bus capacities is the ambulance manufacturing. So we use those bus capacities to build ambulances.
Right. And your observations on defense procurements with regard to armored vehicles or other special application vehicles for defense segments?
See, armored, there is a demand, but mostly from a private sector is much higher than the government demand right now. I think not a priority area right now for an armored vehicle that I see from a government buying standpoint. But from a defense procurement, yes, the government's Atmanirbhar scheme where they're trying to localize a lot of, or they're doing an import substitution for a lot of import substitution. We see a huge, inquiry flow, RFIs, RFQs being floated by different PSUs and government departments and defense, where we feel yes, we can see something moving, and which is a very unique scenario. It's all-time high.
Right.
We have at JCBL, I don't know whether you know, we have a defense strategy also. We're working on doing some projects for Ministry of Defense. We are also currently working on 5 projects for them, which has been very good, which has been a good start for us.
Okay, sir. And how are things with regard to exports to other overseas markets, more so to neighboring countries and things like that? Since the demand in domestic market is a bit lull, are there any scope with regard to exports? How has been the story so far, and what's your prospect for export market?
So I think the lockdown or COVID situation has been worldwide. So the problems that bus market faces in India is faced by worldwide. There's an ambulance export orders which are being executed. But as you are aware that we don't have a chassis of our own. So we normally work for an OE, and most of the exports are done by OEs. So we're currently executing 150 ambulance order for a neighboring country, and for one of the OEs. So we are not going to be exporting it. We will give it to an OE. So yes, ambulance demand is there from our OE, from our neighbors and across the world. But buses per se, I don't see much happening there.
Right, sir. And what are your prospects for the upcoming financial year? Where do you think the growth would lie, and which are the segments that are actually going to be the growth drivers for JCBL Limited?
So actually, growth is dependent on the base year. 20 if we take a base year, 19 we take a base year, or 18 we take a base year. I'm just saying that's because 19 was a bad year, 20 was even worse. But yeah, if I look at my order books currently, we will beat an 18 projection. We will have a growth of about 25-30% over our 18 numbers, 18-19 numbers, which was the best year in the last 3 years. if you look at our order book, it's all about execution from now. Major demand coming from construction, that is tippers and tip trailers. Also demand coming from a lot of defense orders that we have. There are some defense buses for troop movements. There are ambulances that we are doing, and these. And I've still not accounted for the school bus season because we still have to see how it maps out. But assuming we will be at 18 numbers, we see a 30% growth this year overall in our balance sheets.
Okay, right. And some of the niche product segments in JCBL arm will be these heavy duty trailers, right? Your partnership with DOLL of Germany, and so how are those those product segments coming up? And are there any other segments or niche product areas that we have actually missed out in our discussion?
So we have a working partnership with DOLL Germany, DOLL Germany, and it's basically specific to our defense trailer that we are trying to push into the Indian Army. So we have not got any major success. We have the prototypes ready, and we are trying to convince the forces on a more efficient trailer than what they are currently using. And we are not into the ODC segment. So that's about DOLL. Other areas that we are looking at, we are not looking at any major application as of now, apart from what we are doing. But in our special application vehicle division, we do a lot of things. And again, coming back to motorhomes, mobile offices, office on wheels, workshop on wheels. Then we end up doing mobile testing labs. We do, so all these, keep on coming, and they are, part of our regular profile. It's a separate division, it's a separate team that works on it. But they're coming. As I said, we are feeling the maximum growth is the containerized homes for farmhouses and remote locations, and that's where we feel there's a lot of demand coming and a lot of enthusiasm, because people want an outside home or out location home or a second home where they can probably go over weekends, and so there has been a mindset change because of the pandemic situation, which we can see that.
Right. But with regard to containerized homes or even motorhomes, to say, those are more like customized products, right? To meet the requirements of specific customers. So how is JCBL is it more like you have a kind of a general solution that may fit everyone, or you have customized approach towards each and every buyer that you have? Because as my impression is that, say, for instance, with regard to other product segments like ambulances or even the school buses, you have a production line ready. So with regard to these kind of customized products, how is JCBL preparing up?
So JCBL has been a customized product company all along. That's been our secret for success also. So if you look at our buses also, there are certain parameters we are rigid on, and those are fixed. But then we offer our customers a variety of customized solutions. Okay. Fabric, color, seating layout, types of seats, windows, interior finishing. We offer them a lot of. So it's the same thing that we are doing with motorhomes or containerized homes, where obviously the level of customization is a little more, but that's more on the interior finishing side. So when it comes to an outer shell, because structural integrity is important and engineering design is important. So there's a shell design which can be tailor-made to suit somebody's requirement, but you can't go beyond a certain parameters for somebody. And then comes the interior side, where we are offering them complete solutions. So what happens is that our main production line gives us the shell and everything, and then it goes to an offline where it is customized to suit a customer's requirement. Because when you're getting a motorhome made, it's like making your own house, and right. Somebody wants the TV room big, and somebody wants the bathroom too big. We had a customer who came up to us and said, I want a very big bathroom here. I don't want it to feel I'm in a bus. So I want a big bathroom. I need a shower cabinet. Then there was a customer who said, do anything, give me a kitchen, with a place to eat. Because I want a separate place to eat. I don't want food to come in my living area. I'm just saying, it's a very personalized thing. We're currently doing a containerized home. It's a 3-bedroom containerized home, where the family said, please ensure that, because we are going for a weekend there, please ensure that we do not put us in silos. So if you are in a room, we should have a privacy, but most of the activity areas, please bring them out. So the rooms have been kept too small, and the outside, the engagement areas have been enhanced. So I'm just saying I think JCBL's core strength has been customization. And that's why we've been able to blend both sides, where it is about making same kind of 700 ambulances, our lines can take care of it. But if a customer wants one-off customization, then we easily remove that ambulance after the standardized work is done to an offline, and we do the customization.
Right. I mean, this is a very interesting product segment, which is something that's not yet explored in India, I guess. If you see other Western markets and all, there is an established segment there. So just to understand the size of the segment, like what will be the capacity? What are the volumes that are being driven in this segment?
See, again, you're talking about motorhomes, or you're talking about container homes?
No, both motorhomes as well as containerized homes.
The motorhomes, there's a huge potential and huge demand that's coming up. Okay. So if you see in a normal year, we used to end up doing about 30 to 40 motorhomes a year, which was a normal year. But after pandemic, we've done more than that, from in spite of it being pandemic. On a container home, it's a very new segment. It's starting from a concept selling, where you can tell somebody that if you have a farmhouse where you are, you need not do anything, just give us a small plinth area, we drop in a home for you overnight and a home is ready. So that segment is totally unexplored. To put a number as to what is the size of the market, we're still trying to understand how big the segment can be. But I can tell you that every location that we drop one container home, we're getting at least 5 inquiries next day from that very location saying, we want to sit, discuss. I'm not saying all of them mature, but the anxiety and the customer are immediately responding when they're seeing that.
Right. That's quite interesting, because we see at least a little traction will definitely, translate into a bigger outlook in the coming years. So moving on to the next part, sir, with regard to JCBL Limited, now post 2020, things have been very different, as you rightly articulated. Different segments are showing different progress and different indicators. Now, what are your primary priorities at present? Like, which are the products, or which are the, you rightly said, like, what are the products are in demand right now? But apart from that, with regard to your upcoming, say, plans and projects, so how are your priorities being worked up right now? Are there any new products being planned, or new partnerships, or even any please bring out your priority list for 2021 with regard to JCBL.
Yeah. Our priority list is very much defined by this year's budget, which clearly says that there's going to be a lot of infrastructure spend, and a lot of spend towards the healthcare. There's going to be a lot of spend towards safety. So I'm just saying, so we are also aligning our products, looking at that, because we basically serve the Indian market. So when you say construction, tippers, tip trailers is what is leading it. On logistics, it's containers or petroleum tankers, which will lead it. On the buses side, we feel there will be a huge demand that will come in from luxury school bus segment, because I think the mindset has changed. People who want to, people are realized that a hygienic product, or a better designed product, or some safety aspects are important. I think safety and hygiene have been brought to the forefront of every discussion. which was the probably not so important criteria. Price was the only criteria that was prevalent. So I feel, I'm not saying we were going to make a major change in our product range. We'll see how the market goes. But yes, we are want to cater to the core sector of the Indian economy, that is construction. We're talking about education from school buses, ambulances for medical side where the infrastructure is being geared up, and logistics with trailers and petroleum tankers. And then, we have the relationship and capability wherever we feel there's a demand for anything else, we can easily launch it. And we are in talks with an international partner to bring in a new product, which will be, I'd say the category already exists in India, but our product will set a benchmark in the market of what quality and efficiency is. But forgive me, I'm not at liberty to talk about the product right now because it's still on a research stage. I'm not saying it's going to be launched in the next 6 months. It's still on a working.
Right. And unlike the truck segment, the bus segment, what we have seen in, especially post pandemic period, probably from the last 6 or 7 months, is that the market for fully built vehicles, fully built buses manufactured by OEMs is kind of increasing. Does that pose a threat to players like JCBL?
Definitely. If you look at, in fact, not just after pandemic, the last couple of years, fully built buses coming from OEs, numbers are growing. And that's why I said JCBL's core niche is customizing. If somebody wants a standard school bus, I will never be cost effective for him. So he only comes to me when he wants a customized one. Right. He might go to an OE and pick up a standard bus that is made by JCBL for the OE. That's a separate thing. But when he only comes to me directly is when he wants some customization. Right. When he realizes that he needs something special in a bus, or he wants his bus to stand out among other schools. Well, we have to understand, a lot of schools have realized the fact that the buses are moving signboards in the city. And, a good quality bus stands out, and or a customized bus stands out, and it also, brings up the school name or spreads the school name. That's how it is.
Right. Sure, sir. Any other observations with regard to JCBL Limited? Any something that we have missed out in our discussion?
I think at JCBL, we have been constantly innovating for new products and trying to raise the bar ourselves. Where we realized that our products need to get lighter with how the market demand it gets stronger. So asking for a need for a better engineered design, FEA, challenging our own self. We are going to be restructuring ourselves in next 6 months and be focusing on some core segments. I think in the next interview I'll be able to probably give you more details about that. But yeah, that's about it. Nothing.
Sure, sir. We will be delighted to bring out different other stories on JCBL in the upcoming months as well. So thank you so much for spending your time with us, sir. It's been quite enlightening to understand because it's quite difficult to see. It's not that easy to find a company like JCBL where we can discuss about different, wide variety of product segments, and it's been quite enlightening to me personally as well. So thank you so much, sir, for spending your time. I think we'll be in touch.
Sure.
With JCBL.
Thank you.
Sure, sir. My pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.